What is up, everyone? Prometheus here with some big news about the Legend of Zelda movie. We got our first look at the cast in action with some new leaked set photos. So a few months ago, Shigeru Miyamoto revealed the actors that will be playing Link and Zelda in the Zelda movie. Mo Braggerson as Zelda and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Link. I personally think those are fantastic choices. They look the part, they're young, they're not super well known. I think they'll fit the characters well. So, ever since then, I've been waiting to get a first glimpse at the film. And, well, it may not have been an official announcement, but a leaker on Instagram revealed their footage of the Legend of Zelda movie set. And from what it looks like, this movie might actually be peak, because what we see looks absolutely fantastic. Let me show you. So the guy recording the footage was hiding in the forest and recording a scene that was being shot in the forests of New Zealand. And it's clearly not AI, like we get to see the entire camera crew, there's no little mistakes or anything that you'd usually spot with AI, it's clearly real. So we get to see a glimpse at Link, Zelda, and surprisingly Impa in the forest. We get to see a look at some of the horses, we get to see the Hyrule emblem, and I think the costumes look great. I think the whole aesthetic is looking very good and mostly game accurate so far, while also still being pretty original. So let's take a closer look. So here we have a shot of Impa and Zelda in the forest by a horse, and Impa is showing Zelda a blade. I don't really know the context within the story, but we'll just have to wait and see. So my biggest takeaway from this is that their costumes are not ripping straight from one of the games. I like that the new costumes are completely original, or somewhat original. They still have similar details to the games, but Zelda's costume looks most similar to her costume in Breath of the Wild, while still being its own little thing. I like that the movie has its own original aesthetic, that it's not really going to be, hopefully not following the story of one game, but rather coming up with its own original story that takes elements of different games. Probably going to have elements of Breath of the Wild in there, maybe Twilight Princess, who knows. But yeah, Zelda's design looks great. She has the long hair, the braids in the back. Her costume is kind of similar to that of her costume in Breath of the Wild, while still being its own little thing. I like that. I really like that. So the character standing with Zelda is most likely Impa. She has white hair, and her costume looks nothing like any of the costumes we've seen for Impa throughout the series. And you know what? I like that. I like that she has a completely original design. Like, she has varying different designs throughout the series. Sometimes she's a wrinkly old lady. Sometimes she's a white-haired badass. Looking here, she looks kind of like a combination of the two. She looks a lot like older and wiser, while still being white-haired badass. Still probably really agile. I don't know. We don't get to see that much of her, but we know that she's in the movie, and most people think that the actor portraying her is Dichin Lachin, who I think it's a pretty good choice. I think she's not super well known, but she looks the part. She can definitely play a really good Impa. Right here we get to see a better shot of Zelda, and yeah, she looks magnificent. She looks beautiful. She looks game accurate while still being completely original. Her costume is very nice, and it's, again, like I said beforehand, it's original while still being familiar. It's comparable to her design in Breath of the Wild while still being its own little thing. I like that. Wes Ball, I think he's going to do a great job with this movie. Of course, we have to talk about the main man himself, Link. And he gets surprisingly the least amount of spotlight in this leak, but we still get to see enough. His new costume it's a green tunic, and it's most clearly comparable to his design in Twilight Princess. He's got this brownish blonde hair, a dark green tunic, and he doesn't have the cap, which I guess is fine, because they eventually had to drop that cap. You don't want him looking like a Christmas elf. Link was the character that people were most worried about for this movie, because you don't want him talking. His design is the hardest to get right. He's like, people are saying he was impossible to cast, but you know what? I think Benjamin Evan Ainsworth's depiction of Link might prove those people wrong. Like, I'm still a bit iffy with whether he should talk or not, or maybe have little spurts, But from the design, I think he has a great design, and we've only seen the back side of him. Let me show you a better shot of it. Here we are. So again, we don't get to see that much of Link because Benjamin puts a raincoat on, so he's mostly concealed. But again, we get to see his backside. He has that leather strap on him, the dark green tunic, the curly brownish blonde hair. So he's most similar to Twilight Princess. So from this information, we can articulate that this movie isn't going to be a single adaptation. So far, it looks like it's probably going to be a combination of Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess, which is going to be interesting, though that's just based off the costumes. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think he looks good. I hope we get to see more of him in further leaks, unless Nintendo skins that man alive, which most likely they will, and they probably will do the same with me for this video. So if that does happen, it's been a good run, guys. But anyways, yeah, that's our first look at the Legend of Zelda movie. It looks really good so far. I like the designs. I like that it's a original aesthetic while still being similar. Similar aesthetic to other games. But overall, well, I don't really know what else to say. This is a completely unscripted video. I didn't write a script for this. That's why I'm kind of rambling on and stuttering a bit. But yeah, if we get more leaks, I'm going to show them to you guys. I don't know how long I can keep doing this until Nintendo, like, smites me down. Who knows? But yeah, leave down in the comments what you think about these leaks, and I'll see you in the next one, when more leaks are inevitably shown.